Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to do something pretty cool. We're going to crack the code that literally runs our entire social world, and that code is language. We're about to deconstruct the very blueprint we all use to build reality itself. You ready? Let's dive in.
All right, let me just start with a big question right off the bat. What if the world you see around you, the reality you experience every single day, isn't something you're just, passively observing? What if you're actually building it with words?
See, a lot of us think communication is just about sticking labels on things, but it's so much more than that. It's this incredibly complex, active process where we're all co-constructing our world, together. And today, we're going to crack the code and see exactly how that shared blueprint works.
We all kind of have this default setting, right? We think the word tree is the tree. It just feels so direct, so simple, so obvious. But, and this is a big but, that's the fundamental mistake. That's where so much miscommunication starts, because the word is not the thing.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this, we need a really powerful analogy. I want you to think of it like this. Language is the map, and reality is the territory. And you'll see why this matters, because, well, you can't drink from the river on a map, can you?
So first up, let's talk about the territory. This is the real deal, the actual world. It's the physical ground under your feet, the sun in the sky. It exists whether we have a word for it or not. It's just there.
And then we have the map. And the map is our language. It's this amazing, incredibly useful guide that helps us all navigate the super complex territory of reality. But we have to remember, it's just a representation, a set of symbols, that's it.
So here's the classic mistake, and you can see it right here with the traveler on your screen. They're trying to find shelter under a symbol of a forest, and honestly, we do this all the time. It's exactly what happens when we forget that a word is just a creative, human-made guide and not the real thing.
And that's why we call language a symbolic system. It sounds fancy, but all it means is that words are symbols that stand in for something else. And this idea, it's so simple, but it's also so profound. It's what lets us talk about the past, plan for the future, and share these huge, complex ideas, all things that aren't, physically right here in front of us. And this whole system is just unbelievably flexible. I mean, think about it. You take one single symbol, one word on the map, like Apple. Well, where does that point? Is it a tech company? A piece of fruit? Somebody's name? Without context, that part of the map is pretty much useless.
Okay, so if words are just symbols on a map, how in the world do we actually create meaning? How do we connect that map to the real-world territory? Well, for that, we need a kind of recipe. We're going to deconstruct our blueprint using something called the Semantic Triangle.
All right, let's build this thing out together. It's got three key parts. First, up in your head, there's the thought. That's the concept, right? Like the idea of a furry, four-legged friend. Then you need a symbol to represent that thought. That's the word we use, like dog. And finally, that symbol points to a referent, the actual object out there in the world, like that specific Jack Russell Terrier you see.
Now, this is the most important part. This is the real aha moment. I want you to look closely at the dotted line on our blueprint here, the one connecting the symbol and the referent. It's dotted for a very, very important reason. There is no direct, natural connection between the word dog and that actual furry animal. None. It's just a made-up, learned agreement we all have. That connection, it exists only in our minds.
Let's try another one just to see how this plays out in real life. Take the symbol, the word, home. Okay, for a lot of us, the thought that comes to mind is something like comfort and family. But for one person, that thought points to a suburban house with a white picket fence. For someone else, it points to a tiny little apartment in a huge, bustling city. See? Same symbol, same general thought, but totally different real-world things. And that is why meaning can be so incredibly personal.
So why does any of this matter? Why go through the trouble of deconstructing this blueprint? Well, because once you really get how the map works, once you can see those dotted lines for what they are, it gives you this incredible power as a communicator.
When you truly understand that words are just this shared blueprint, something amazing happens. You stop just being a passive user of language and you start becoming a conscious architect of your own world. You can build stronger connections, you can head off misunderstandings before they even start, and you can actually shape your world with real intention.
Okay, so let's lock in the key takeaways here, the three big things to remember. Number one, words are a map, not the territory. Simple as that. Don't confuse the two. Number two, the semantic triangle, that combo of thought,
symbol, and referent, that's our recipe for how we build meaning. And number 3, probably the most important of all, that link between a word and a thing isn't real. It's just a shared agreement that we all decided to learn.
And that leaves us with one final big thought to chew on. If our shared worlds really are built out of words, if we're all architects holding this same blueprint, then the question is, what kind of world are you going to choose to build?